you know, from the time you were diagnosed to now, he sees what that things have gotten worse, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, yeah, it just has, and it's going to, so I just try to, I get through every day the best I can, and I do pretty good.
Right.
But after the video series that we worked on, that turned out real well, and then I knew I wanted to write a book about this disease, how it's affected me and Phyllis June and our family and friends and everything. Well, I couldn't write a book a bit more than Man in the Moon. There was no way that was going to happen.
But you wanted to write it from a patient's
From a patient's perspective, yeah. It's never been done that I know of, or if it has been done, it hasn't been done very many times. Caregiver books are a dime a dozen. You can find Alzheimer caregiver books anywhere, but
and they're excellent.
yeah, I found a writer in Florida by the name of Gary LeBlanc, and he was on Memory People, matter of fact. So I got a hold of Gary and I told him my plight. I said I want to write a book about how this disease has affected me and people around me, and try to bring awareness to it and help other people. And he said, well, Rick, his second book just came out, and it was called
Staying Afloat in a Sea of Forgetfulness.
Yeah, Staying Afloat in a Sea of Forgetfulness, which is an excellent caregiver book. Gary was a caregiver for his father, who had Alzheimer's, for 10 years at his house until he passed away.
Yeah, he was able to keep his father there.
That's highly unlikely, because usually they end up, your loved one ends up in a nursing home just because of it's just the way it goes. But,
well, and what was good with Gary, he's a writer, so it's not like he had to put his dad in nursing home because he couldn't leave him by himself. You know, he was there with him, and that worked out real good for him.
All right. So, let me think here now.
Excellent book. You told him what you were going to do.
Mm-hmm. See, that's how fast it goes. I hate that. It's embarrassing, but I don't remember what I was talking about. The book, and let's see.
You wanted to write it from...
The book's be coming out soon.
That's right. He said he wasn't going to be able to do it because his book was coming out soon. That's what it was. And he said he wouldn't be able to start it till January. And I said, well, Gary, that's just not acceptable, because I got to do this quickly. I don't know, I rush everything now. I don't wait around. And he said, well, Rick, I just can't do it. And I said, I thanked him, and that was it. Well, about 3 days later, he called me on the phone. He said, I haven't been able to sleep. I've been thinking about this. And he says, it's driving me crazy. He said, if I started on this book within a week, would that meet your expectations? And I said, well, absolutely. And
that was October.
It was October. And he said, well, what I have to do is, he writes for a Tampa Bay newspaper. He's a columnist. And he said, I got to get enough columns up so I'm not going to lose my job there. And he said, I'll start on this book and we'll get it done. So we've been working on it since October. I do a recording every day, sometimes 2 or 3, and that's how he takes that recording and edits it, and if there's something that he needs, he'll call me and I'll do another one, and we've been doing that since October. And he just finished it like 2 days ago. The book's done.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, the only thing that needs to be done now, it has to be edited, meaning he'll send us a hard copy of the book. Phyllis June will read it because I can't. And but we'll go over it together.
Right. And
then if there's any changes that need to be made, and then we'll send it back, and Gary will edit it again, and then it goes. We already have a publisher. Publisher picked us up, so it'll go to the publisher. I just talked to Gary, and he said about 10 days. And once it goes to the publisher, we assign a reader. We're going to have it on audio book as well, because I was very adamant about that, because I can no longer read. What good would a book do somebody? A lot of patients, and that's who I want to reach also, is patients. So
caregivers can read the book just fine, but the patients
won't
be able to.
So it's got to be on audio, and it's also going to be on CD. And we was very adamant about that. And it's going to be called While I Still Can. And about everything I do, I title that, because that is the deal. I tell everybody, well, I got to do this while I still can, or I got to do that, because I don't know if I've got 6 months or 6 years or 16 years. You just don't know. So we're pretty well. And then I need to tell everybody, this is a real good thing about the song. a good friend of mine, lifelong friend, Dan Mitchell. He's from the Coshocton area. We graduated together, and I got a hold of Dan about 4 months ago, and he also was on Memory People. And I said, Dan, I've been thinking about this, and I said, we need to write a song. I want you to help me with this. And he said, well, Rick, I've been thinking about it too for about 2 months. And he said, I wanted to get a hold of you, but he said, I just didn't know how to approach it. And I said, well, you know me better than that. And he said, well, let's do it. So he took many of my sayings that are throughout the book and on Memory People, and we took a lot of them, and he added lyrics to it. Dan runs a studio in Nashville, Tennessee. He's a record producer and a manager of the Tracking Room. It's a brand new studio. It's just absolutely beautiful. Well, anyway, they record the song, and it's absolutely, I think they did an excellent job. It turned out better than I ever could have dreamed. So that's going to be released on iTunes. It's just being mastered now.
Dan is singing it.
Dan is performing it, yeah. Last Saturday night he was in town in Coshocton, and we went over to Lock 27, and it was the first time he performed it in front of a live audience, and he got a little choked up, and of course I think everybody in the room did. But it was a very good moment for everybody. It's a very important song. I've had people say it's a sad song, and I'm like, well, yeah.
It is a sad song.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I tried to write about Bon Jovi, and it just wasn't working. So, well, let's take a break.
One question though.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Does the future scare you? Are you scared about the future?
No, the future doesn't scare me because like I said, I made peace with this. Don't get me wrong, I'm not happy about it, and I'm not, if I could change it, I certainly would. But here's what I think. Out of all the diseases to have, this is one of the worst ones because it affects your mind, your brain. It affects me every day, 24/7. However, I'm very thankful because I'm not sick. I don't have any pain. There's a lot of things I'm thankful for. And even though it's going to shorten my life, it has given me a good time to slow down and look at things the way I need to, the way everybody should, really. Everybody gets it's a fast lane. Everybody, their iPhones and their computers and this and that and the other, and they just need to take time and slow down and instead of calling their kid on their iPhone, or instead of texting their child or whatever, talk to them at dinner time. That's what we do. We don't ever play the TV or have a TV on at dinner time when we have the grandkids here, because we talk to them about.
But we've always been.
We've always been like that. But to answer your question, I'm not. No, me and Phyllis Jones talked about it in depth, and I absolutely want to be placed in a nursing home when that time comes, because she weighs about 115 pounds soaking wet, and I'm pushing 170, and there's she's not going to be able to handle me one of these days. Hopefully down the road, a long time, maybe several years, and I want and deserve to be taken care of properly, and she's just not going to be able to do it. So with our EMS experience, she's going to be able to know when that time is, and that's what I want done.